Welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the Daily Show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is John Campia.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California. And it is November 17th, exactly 1 month away from the opening of Star Wars The Force Awakens. We've gone from 3 years to 1 month. I'm giddy.
Also here, John Schnepp.
Man, I heard they totally canceled it. It's not coming
Shut up
next year. Yeah.
Shut up.
A lot of delays happening with Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Breaking out the Christmas gear, you know. It's
Piss
cold
on your
here.
leg.
It's cold here in Los Angeles. I'm loving it.
Also here, Mark Ellis.
We got a month until Star Wars. I got about T-minus 2 hours before I play Star Wars Battlefront, and I might miss the premiere of The Force Awakens entirely.
We're going to talk about some stories.
Yeah, we got a couple of stories going on here, folks. As a matter of fact, a couple of stories have dropped since we wrote our show notes this morning. And the first one is this. We talked about the posters the other day, but now the first trailer for Gods of Egypt has been released with Gerard Butler, and I just know him as the Kingslayer because I don't know how to say Nikolai's name. So while that out of the way, the first trailer is dropped. Schnepp, you had a chance to watch it with us this morning. Your thoughts on this Gods of Egypt trailer?
I felt like I ate an entire box of Captain Crunch. It was sugary goodness, corny. It's so corny that I was smiling. I was happy to see the return of Alex Proyas doing something really cool with a lot of weird CG birds and monsters and cool Egyptian-themed creatures. It looks dumb as all hell. The main actor looks like Oliver Twist.
You're talking about the kid.
The little kid with the big eyebrows.
Boy,
like, what are we doing? You know, it's like the less of that kid, the better. Throw a bunch more robotic scarabs attacking other giant creatures, sandworms and stuff. It looks dumb as hell, but I cannot wait to see it. I'm going to see it opening day. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I honestly, other than knowing that the film was coming out and knowing who was involved and reading a brief synopsis, I had no clue what kind of tone they were going for in this movie. I don't know if they were going to try to be serious and this is a story about Egypt and all. And then I watched the trailer. It's like, okay, so this is just good, dumb, stupid fun. And look, I'll say this. Couple of visual effects look questionable. But I've learned to not worry about how good or bad visual effects look on a TV screen or even just on a computer screen, because a lot of these times these visual effects are specifically made for a giant screen and it looks quite often very different on there. I thought it felt fun. I got to admit, I love the line when he says, "We should run." He says, "Run." And he goes, "Yes, it's something we mortals always do." I got to admit, I laughed. I thought that line was funny. Although, I could do without that kid. That kid, he appeared in the trailer and delivered his first line, and immediately I turned to the guys like, I already don't like this kid.
What's wrong, John? You don't like looking at my sour face?
Steal from a god. I
want some more.
Please,
more
sir,
porridge.
have some more.
Please, John, just one more.
I got to tell you, I did not like the kid, but whatever. I thought Gerard Butler looked awesome. I thought the Kingslayer looked awesome. Egyptian gods that transform. Optimus Prime comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to tell you, the movie's going to be dumb as F.
There was a giant, Wendy pointed out, I was like, what's that weird thing crawling behind Gerard Butler while he's giving some speech? She's like, it's a scarab. There's like some giant, like metallic scarab just in the background shuffling around. I mean, that's the kind of movie it's going to be.
But I got to side with you on this. I thought it looked like this might be fun. This might be good, stupid fun, or it could just be a disaster. But
it's going to be better than I, Frankenstein, I guarantee it.
It will be better than I,
What
Frankenstein.
was the Captain Crunch y'all ate laced with? This trailer was ridiculous. This movie looks terrible because of the trailer. The thing comes on, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize Naboo was part of Egypt. I mean, the visual effects in this movie look dated. It looks like Mortal Kombat is coming back to theaters. The visual effects were terrible looking. And yes, they look better on a big screen, but this movie looks ridiculously stupid, like every other one of those classic, gods and myths, and the Legend of Hercules and Troy, and all these crappy movies, the Pompey one, like they all are terrible. There's never been.
You just don't like Greek tragedies.
Unless they want to go back to making like old school movies like the Ten Commandments or Lawrence of Arabia or something like that. The recent ones that have used CGI to tell their story have been god awful, and this looks like just another one. I'm so sick of seeing these kind of movies. I am shocked you guys are excited about this.
Mark, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question though. In that big long list of crappy movies you gave, okay,
yes,
did any of them have Egyptian gods that transformed into metallic warriors?
shiny metallic
Sign it,
warriors.
huh?
I think they did
I rest
actually.
my case.
It almost looked like Iron Man, but in Egypt times.
It looked like the bad guys from Stargate, except like the special effects
It
were
did
worse.
look like the bad guys from
Yeah.
Stargate.
These effects really
And
need to be
Stargate
cleaned
was
up.
great.
Let me just say this. On the drive here, I was talking with Dennis about, like, we didn't even know about Gods of Egypt dropping the trailer. Somehow we just started talking about, like, Bible movies, and we're like, man, really like Noah, the Exodus and Kings. I was watching it on the plane, and I turned it off. I was like, that was horrible. And this is something that's really fun. This is like one, at least to me, until I see it, and it's a big pile of poo. I can't wait to see it. I want it to be really good. I want it to have that kind of Ray Harryhausen monsters fighting monsters, and I think that's what this is going to have. That energy. I'm hoping it's going to have that Ray Harryhausen monster thing that they just didn't get right with Wrath or Clash of the Titans remakes. So.
Yeah,
That's
if we
what
can
I'm
have
hoping.
some like Jason and the Argonaut style.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it feels like. So I'm
That
hoping.
Look, let's just call a spade a spade. He's probably right. It's probably going to be abysmal. I
don't wanna
think
admit
it
it.
looks like it could be fun though.
It could be a lot of fun, Ellis. Come on, we're gonna go see it together. See
I
it
can't,
with me.
I can't wait to, after how much I hated on the trailer, to talk about our next story and to show how excited I am about what we're about to talk about.
Speaking of which, there is another story to get to before the main event. Also dropping, our good friend, former Batman, Val Kilmer, got on Facebook and he dropped this little nugget. He dropped this. Val Kilmer said this on his Facebook. I just got offered Top Gun 2. Not often you just say yes without reading the script. Is it starring Gene Hackman? Yes. Is the director Francis Ford Coppola? Yes. They are not involved in the production. These are just examples of what an actor says yes to, like Jerry Bruckheimer and Tom Cruise. Yes, we will all miss Tony Scott, one of the kindest gentlemen I've ever met in the film biz, but let's fire up some fighter jet engines again. I should be clear here, though. This is not a film version of the Saturday Night Live skit, Iceman, The Latter Years. This is not a film version of that, which, by the way, if you've not seen that skit, find it on YouTube.
That's pretty good.
Iceman, The Latter Years. So anyway, Mark, you were the first one to tell me about this morning. Your first reaction when you see Val Kilmer, what it looks like is pretty much confirming that the wheels are in motion for Top Gun 2.
Let's play with the boys again, man. Him is Tom Kazansky and Tom Cruise is Pete Mitchell. Those were two of the most important pieces to get this production in place. So obviously, it's that point in Tom Cruise's career where we talked about on the show before when he's doing Mission Impossible, when he's doing Jack Reacher, he's approaching the end of what would be an action star's career. You know, I mean, he can go on to do things forever, but as far as him being in his physical prime, he's going towards the end part of that. And so being in Top Gun 2 right now makes sense. Plus, you can get a new generation of fighter pilots in there. They can be the instructors to them. Nothing sounds bad about this. I love the first Top Gun, maybe to a fault, and I'm so excited that we're finally talking about making a sequel again.
Schnepp.
I can't wait to hear Danger Zone 2 by Kenny Loggins. What's he going to do next? It's exciting.
Plug in a guitar and rock again.
Hearing this news, and after seeing Gods of Egypt, the most amazing trailer that I've seen this morning.
The American Navy has to fight scarabs.
I want Iceman to have to fight some kind of weird Egyptian creature of the future. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm not jumping around like Gods of Egypt got me jumping around. But I am excited that Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise are going to do that Top Gun stuff again. Hopefully fighting Egyptian gods.
That would be. Hey, get me on my one shot here. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Tell me you think you can beat me in a game of volleyball.
I think I can beat you in a game of volleyball. Did you just do the bite back?
I just did the bite
the
back.
Iceman bite
You're
is back.
damn right I did the bite back. All right, let's get on with our regularly scheduled news for today.
In a story that has a lot of people across the web scratching their heads, Ambi Pictures has just purchased the rights to the 400 title archive of exclusive media, a library that includes films like Cruel Intentions, Donnie Darko, The Mexican Rush, and Memento. And according to the company, they now have immediate plans to produce a Memento remake. In the original Christopher Nolan film, Leonard, played by Guy Pearce, is tracking down the man who raped and murdered his wife. The difficulty, however, of locating his wife's killer is compounded by the fact that he suffers from a rare, untreatable form of memory loss. Although he can recall details of life before his accident, Leonard cannot remember what happened 15 minutes ago, where he's going, or why. In talking about the remake, Ambry producer Monica Baccardi said the following: Memento is a masterpiece that leaves audiences guessing not just throughout the film, but long after as well, which is a statement to its daring approach. We intend to stay true to Christopher Nolan's vision and deliver a memorable movie that is every bit as edgy, iconic, and award-worthy as the original. It's a big responsibility to deliver something that lives up to the mastery of the original, but we are extremely excited and motivated to bring this puzzle back to life and back into the minds of moviegoers. John, are you interested in a Memento remake?
Yes. Yes, I am. Look, the first Memento is awesome. It's just awesome. And I'm still surprised how many people have not seen that movie. Guy Pearce is great. Christopher Nolan was really his breakout film that put him on everybody's radar. I believe Trinity as well. Carrie Ann Moss is in it as well. And another Matrix alumni.
Joey Pants.
He's
Pants. What's his last name?
Joe Pantoliano.
Pantoliano, yeah, he's in that as well. Fabulous movie, and truly was one of the best films of that year. Nominated for a couple of Oscars, all that kind of stuff. It's magnificent, and it's a great story. And I'm totally up for somebody else taking a crack at telling the story because it's a great story. Look, I've read a lot of people online saying Memento doesn't need a remake. No film ever needs to be made. No, there hasn't been a film yet in existence or history that needed to be made. Look, they do a Memento. I say this all the time, but it really applies here. I think it has a chance to be a pretty decent film because it's such a great story. And if it sucks, who cares? The original Memento isn't going away. It's not like Ambi saying, we are going to first go out into the United States of America, take every copy of the original Memento and burn it in a big pyre to the, Gerard Butler Egyptian gods and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to erase it from history and now give you this movie. No, it's still going to be there. If they make a new one and it's good, then we've got a new good movie. If they make a new one and it sucks, who cares? We instantly brush it out of our memory and we still got the original Memento. This is such a good story, and it's the type of story that it strikes me there are different ways you could tell it. So I'm curious to see somebody, but now that all being said, as much as the production company is saying, we're going to make a remake, that doesn't mean any distributor is going to pick it up. It doesn't mean any international market. Just because they're saying they're going to make it, number one, doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. And even if they do try to make it, doesn't mean it's actually going to be on a movie screen anywhere. So let's just take a step back and catch our breath a little bit. Anyway, Mark, you saw this story. Your thoughts on a potential Memento reboot?
It always makes me nervous when the story leads off with, hey, we just acquired the rights to a bunch of movies. Let's start remaking them. And Memento isn't one that screams, oh, we need to be remade. And I didn't like the quote. That's what bothered me about this because it doesn't seem like they're trying to do anything new with Memento. I don't mind a remake if they're trying to further what it is or they're trying to reinterpret it a different way, like the Footloose remake, okay? It was a totally different version of Footloose. It updated it for a new generation. Footloose, Top Gun, I love the 80s, guys. So Memento, it just doesn't seem like they want to take a different spin on it. I mean, she said in the quote, we want it to be every bit as edgy and iconic and as memorable as the first movie. It's like, well, are you going to do anything different with it? Or are you just going to tell the same thing? I do not want a shot-for-shot remake of Memento. But John brings up a great point. If they tell it in a different way or they show a different version of the same story we already know, it is a great tale, and I'll probably be interested to see it if they can do something new with it.
Schnepp?
I got two words that why they're so excited to do a remake of Memento. The two words are Christopher Nolan, because they get to advertise, even it's just story by, because it's basically his original story.
Yeah.
So even if
based on the film by
Christopher Nolan, really big,
yeah.
Memento really tiny. So they're just going to soak off of his name value, which he had no name when Memento came out. That's the first movie of Christopher Nolan's that I saw, and I remember being jaw dropped when I saw it. I was like, what an incredible, amazing masterpiece. Insane neo-noir that this film, I mean, it's got so much to it, not just Guy Pearce, but even the direction, the storytelling, everything about it is an instant classic. When it came out, everyone was talking about it. Now, cut to how many years ago did it come out? What was it?
I think it was like 99, right? 2000, something
yeah, so
like
it's
that.
like 17, almost 15, 17 years old. So yeah, a lot of people didn't see it. It's done its run on cable and DVD and everything, and now it's just one of those movies that you hear about, like, oh yeah, Nolan did this movie before he did Batman. Everyone's seen the Batman trilogy, but maybe a lot of people haven't seen Memento, and that's how these companies, like I never even heard of Ambi. I don't even know what they are, but they're like obviously some kind of like giant consortium that absorbs pictures. Then like, which one can we make money off of? Which is what it's a business. Everyone wants to make money. So they got Donnie Darko. That's not we're remaking Donnie Darko. That's just not like an immediate money grab.
But it's coming.
It's gonna come. Yeah,
Fans
you're right.
might riot. If
It's
they
just
remake
called
Donnie Darko, fans might riot.
Well, so I mean, look, we always talk about that's a business of movies. Movies get made, cut to 10, 15 years later, they get remade. Or there's just a story alone. There's the same story that's been told time and time again, and it's classic. Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven. The list goes on. So you have this kind of a story that continues. I don't know how I really feel about Memento being remade, because I don't feel like that's a movie that's like screaming to be remade. Like all these people missed out on this strange niche, like compelling, strange, detective story that is made for a small group audience. It's like it's not demanding to be remade like some of these other big budget films that are 20 years old. So I'm not into the remake idea of especially taking a classic like Memento. As long as they do a different spin on it, but I just don't feel that that's.
I think it's look at something else that Christopher Nolan's had a big hand in Batman, is that they remade Batman originally. I mean, they've remade Batman a bunch of times, but they remade it after Batman and Robin because it was atrocious and the character needed to be resurrected. They're remaking Batman again because they're doing a different spin on it.
Yes.
It's not that we don't like the Dark Knight trilogy; we love it. It's just that we want to do a different spin on it. So if you do a different spin on what Memento's story is, I could be up for that. This just sound from that quote, it sounded like a cash grab to me.
Just as a point of reference, actually, Memento has been remade, I believe, twice already in India, and it goes under the name Gajini.
Oh, nice.
And it is a remake of Memento just in India. So
hey, look, other countries, we always do that to other countries.
Yes,
We're like,
do.
let the right one in, we'll grab that. Let me do it. We're constantly grabbing other flavor from other countries and slapping it in like brand new American style. So I don't mind when other countries like rip us off.
Yeah,
or it's
neither
like
do I.
a co-rip off fun world that we live in. Just remaking it straight up, like it just feels weird to me, especially Memento, since it's such a tiny classic,
All right, what's next?
According to multiple reports, Academy Award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey is in talks to play a major role in the upcoming adaptation of The Dark Tower, based on the book of the same name by Stephen King. However, there are two conflicting reports. One report from The Wrap claims McConaughey is being eyed for the role of Roland Deschain, aka the Gunslinger, while The Hollywood Reporter claims he's up for the villainous role of Randall Flagg. As some of you will remember, reports came out in 2014 that McConaughey was in discussions to play Randall Flagg for the adaptation of King's novel The Stand, but that never actually materialized. Schnepp, what would you think about McConaughey playing a major role in The Dark Tower?
I love the idea of him playing Randall Flagg. We talked about that like a couple weeks ago when we were talking about whatever happened to The Stand, and his name is still in the mix as far as how we all feel like he's the perfect Randall Flagg. In fact, he existed when I was a kid reading the book, The Stand. That's who I saw before ever seeing Matthew McConaughey. He looks just like Randall Flagg as far as the character is described. I think it would be a incredible role for him to play, not only in Dark Tower, but then to continue that into the Stand movie. I mean, hopefully they're seeing that as like combining a bunch of the worlds of Stephen King, because that's what the Dark Tower does. It pulls from a lot of his mythology. So I'd love to see Matthew McConaughey play Randall Flagg.
Now, but what if the Hollywood Reporter is saying it's Randall Flagg. And remember, going back to early 2014, we've heard reports of him playing Randall Flagg just in a different movie.
Right.
What if The Wrap is right? Right? If it's not Randall Flagg, what if it's Deschanel or whatever
Be
the
a
name is?
little bit bummed, but still you get Matthew McConaughey. He's a great actor. So it's a win-win, but I'd rather see him play Randall Flagg.
What about you, Mark? Would you rather him play, the big villainous character or the other character? Which way would you lean?
If I had to pick one, I would go with the villainous character. I'd go with Randall Flagg. A demonic sorcerer in the Dark Tower just sounds too intriguing. Role for McConaughey to be able to pass up. But again, he's been sitting on that for a while, and I really think that both of these reports are kind of accurate. I think he's got his script, and he's just deciding who he wants to play. I mean, it's Matthew McConaughey. He can do whatever he wants, so he's just flipping a coin saying, do I want to be good? Do I want to be bad? I love to see him in this in any capacity.
Now, which of the two roles, though, will allow him to ride in a Lincoln while he's doing the movie?
The one is Randall Flagg.
Then I want him to be Randall Flagg.
Only an evil guy dresses and drives around in a Lincoln like that.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show now for Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So Ashley, what do we got?
Head of Mel Studio in Montreal, Canada, Michel Trudel, recently gave an interview where he revealed that a new X-Men film following X-Men Apocalypse would be shooting at their studio with Bryan Singer in early 2017. 2 other X-Men films have shot at the Canadian studio in recent years, X-Men First Class and the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse. Mark Byers-Sell that Bryan Singer is doing another X-Men film in 2017.
This is harder than I thought it would be. I'm still gonna buy it, but it's not a hard buy. It's not a, oh yeah, I'll give you everything I have. I'm just gonna pay a little bit of money to purchase this piece of information because I think Apocalypse is gonna be successful. I think Bryan Singer is so involved in this franchise, and he loves the way the freedom that Fox is giving him to make the movies that he wants to make. So yeah, I'm gonna buy that this is happening for right now.
Schnepp?
Yeah, 100% buy. Like, I loved his return to the X-Men franchise with Days of Future Past. I'm really looking forward to X-Men Apocalypse. Everything I've seen so far, excited about. So I'm looking forward to him staying in the X-Men family, so to speak, and continuing on whatever the new adventures are, because they're calling X-Men Apocalypse the ending of this, super trilogy
Kind
or
of
whatever.
new trilogy they started,
So even if it's ending, they're also beginning with a lot of the original X-Men. They're rebooting Jean Grey and Cyclops. So I could see him continuing that, like into a new trilogy. And I'm all for him being, the captain of the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, I buy this for a lot of reasons. Look, remember, the next film that Bryan Singer's doing, he's already announced is going to be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, right? But in that announcement, he said that, he says, hey, don't worry, I'm not done with the X-Men universe. And then we get this announcement that he's going back to Montreal to shoot. And it looks like they are shooting in early 2017. That looks like we're going to get another X-Men movie just 2 years after Apocalypse. Now, a lot of people that I'm reading online are suggesting that we are not going to see Apocalypse die in this movie, but Apocalypse will continue to be a villain for at least one more film. If that's the case, then this truly would be like an X-Men Apocalypse sequel and the first film of this new breed of movies they're doing, closing off this First Class kind of trilogy. I love it. Now, normally, you hear me say, I don't like directors staying on projects for too long, but what Bryan Singer's doing here is the Christopher Nolan model. Do one franchise film, go off and do another movie. Then come back to the franchise, then go off and do another movie. So if he's going to do X-Men Apocalypse and then go off and do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, keep his creative juices going, then come back to X-Men again, I'm all for it. Because Bryan Singer has not delivered anything but exceptional X-Men movies every time he's directed one. So I just don't see a downside.
You buy him directing it too? Not just like producing or being involved in it somehow?
Yeah, I think that he kind of let that slip when he said, hey, don't worry guys, I'm coming back to X-Men after he said 20,000 Leagues. So I also believe he's directing it. Although it will be neat to see if we can get Matthew Vaughn to direct another one at some point too. All right, what's next?
The upcoming new film, The Huntsman Winter's War, a sequel to the 2012 film Snow White and the Huntsman, has just released 4 new character posters. 2 of them include the returning Charlize Theron and Chris Hemsworth as the evil Queen Ravenna and the Huntsman Eric respectively, and 2 reveal new characters, Jessica Chastain's warrior Sarah and Emily Blunt's Ice Queen Freya. The film is described like this. Long before the evil Queen Ravenna, Theron was thought vanquished by Snow White's blade, she watched silently as her sister Freya Blunt suffered a heartbreaking betrayal and fled their kingdom. With Freya's ability to freeze any enemy, the young Ice Queen has spent decades in a remote wintry palace, raising a legion of deadly huntsmen, including Eric Hemsworth and warrior Sarah Chastain, only to find that her prize too defied her one demand: forever harden your hearts to love. When Freya learns of her sister's demise, she summons her remaining soldiers to bring the magic mirror home to the only sorceress left who can harness its power. But once she discovers Ravenna can be resurrected from its golden depths, the wicked sisters threaten this enchanted land with twice the darkest force it's ever seen. Now their amassing army shall prove undefeatable unless the banished huntsmen who broke their queen's cardinal rule can fight their way back to one another. John, buy or sell the new posters and sounds of The Huntsman Winter's War.
I'm on board for this. I buy, because look, that last one, Snow White and the Huntsman, it was a bad film. But there were elements in it that were actually quite good. Charlize Theron was awesome in that role. I thought Hemsworth made a really good huntsman. They just needed to ditch the whole Snow White part of the story of that, and I thought you would have been onto something. This sounds great. Emily Blunt is just fantastic. We all love Emily Blunt right now, and she looks awesome. I think she looks awesome. Now, there are a few chuckles around the Collider Movie Talk boardroom table this morning about this just looks like Frozen. And granted, you would be forgiven if you can identify some similarities in the two. But I think this sounds great. I could have done without the last part of love. Can they fight their way back to one another?
Boo.
Yeah, I could have done without that line. But other than that, I think this sounds pretty badass. I love that they found a way to bring Charlize back into the thing because she was just magnificent in that first one. So for me, it's a big buy. Mark?
It's a buy for me. I like Snow White and the Huntsman. I agree. It's the right choice to have Snow White eat another apple and fall asleep and just be out of this movie because Kristen Stewart was the weakest link of that film. So if you trade in Kristen Stewart and you bring in Emily Blunt and Jessica Chastain, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
With a plot, I don't care if it sounds like the plot of Frozen. Frozen was awesome. I love Frozen. Throw a talking snowman in there. Let's have fun with this. It sounds like it's going to be more action. There's going to be some romantic elements there. I'm sure some fairy tale stuff, but this sounds like an intense movie as long as they can keep the plot straight, because that was a lot of words. That is really hard.
That's a lot of words
to focus on all that stuff. As long as they can give us some sort of, concise exposition and it's still thrilling to watch, then I'm totally in on this.
Yeah, it sounds like a prequel and a sequel combined.
Yeah.
But you know what? I 100% buy it. You got Chastain, Blunt, Theron. I'm in. Chuckling a little, Hemsworth. He's the talking snowman. I don't care. Like those three women alone, superpowered ladies, amazing actresses, all of them. It's like they look fantastic. It's crazy. You see those posters are like, oh my God, it's my fantasy come to life. Each and every one of those actresses are amazing. I hated Snow White and the Huntsman. I fell asleep. It's so boring. It's dumb. But I do agree that some of the special effects, like the weird crystal like mirror attack sequences that Charlize Theron had those weird powers. So now her and her Frozen sister, they might. I hope they sing. At least they can have a talk sing fest like Frozen. Yeah. My powers are freezing now. I unite the lovers once again. No, that's too good. Sorry, it should be more like just talking. I'm frozen. I'm freezing too. Let's get inside. Whatever. I want to see this movie.
It should be pointed out too that earlier this morning, if you've not found it, I don't like talking about trailers to trailers, but a short teaser to the upcoming trailer did drop. It looked kind of interesting. I'm not going to do it, but it says coming tomorrow. So hopefully on tomorrow's Movie Talk, we'll be able to talk about the full trailer for the new Huntsman movie. All right, what's next?
As many of you know, while The Flash is tearing it up on television at the moment, another Flash will soon be appearing on the big screen in the DC Cinematic Universe, with actor Ezra Miller playing the part. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, Miller talked about how this Flash will be approached a little differently than the TV version. He said the following: "While it's going to be a movie, I'd like for it to be an exploration of a human being, a multi-dimensional human being to speak." Wow, I just made such a pun without meaning to. I like the character to have many dimensions, but really, I'd like him to have the usual dimensions we know and love, and then some extra ones that are part of the amazing consideration of this superhero. I hope to realize him as a person, and I think what's most exciting for me in superhero mythologies is when we feel the humanity of someone who is heroic or the heroism of someone who is flawed, deeply human person. Should I buy or sell Miller's outlook on his Barry Allen character?
I sell it. I think it's amazing how someone could say like a paragraph worth of stuff without saying anything really, and then make a laugh about, oh, I made a pun about saying nothing. It's just somebody saying, I can't wait to play this character. There's nothing new to it. It was really kind of like the mythologies of the the multiverse, a blobbity bloobity, a human being. I can't reach the soul of the character. Crackly, Sorry, I got nothing. I sell it. I'm happy to hear that he's talking about playing a character, a human being who's going to run fast. The Flash television series, they got a lot to catch up with the movie version. So I know they're going to be going. Yeah, they're going to be going. They're going to be obviously going more in the technological realm, where maybe he won't have super fast human. His body will be some kind of like Iron Man type of thing he's going to have to wear. But his statement about it just says nothing for me about what the movie's going to be about. I'm looking forward to exploring the inner pathos of the human being, of the exploration of blah 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 blah. Sell.
Yeah, I'm completely in the same boat. Yeah. I read it. I'm like, because I'm seeing a lot of people online making a big deal about it. It's like, well, what is he saying that's different from what any other actor has ever said at this point? I mean, what do you expect him to say? What I really want to do is create a one-dimensional character of this guy, and just be, I'm the Flash, and like I want to give him depth and bring out his humanity. They all say that. Yeah. I mean, I get it now. I also get that Ezra Miller probably is not permitted to say very much right now. I get that. That's totally fine. No harm, no foul. And I got to tell you, After seeing a couple of his performances, I really grew to be excited about seeing him as Barry Allen. I think he's going to be a great Flash. I really do. Now, whether the movies will be any good, that's up to a lot of things, but I think he will portray a great Flash. I think he'll do a great job, and I'm super excited. But as far as these comics themselves, there's nothing here to get excited about, folks. Nothing at all. So I'm going to sell it.
Also, I think Ezra Miller is an incredible actor. If you what they say, when they talk about Kevin,
we have to
remember
talk about Kevin.
Oh my God,
he's chilling. He's terrifying.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. Just don't buy his comments.
Yeah, I mean, I buy the comments, but I'm not getting excited about them at the same time. Like, I understand what he's saying. He can only say so much. I agree with what he said about seeing the hero in a normal human being and seeing the normal humanity in a superhero. I like that kind of stuff, and I like when we get a superhero movie that has all those things as opposed to being one-dimensional. So he's just out there. I mean, he's not out there proclaiming what the plot of the movie is. He's not saying exactly what's going to happen in The Flash or how he's even going to be different from the TV Flash, because I don't know if he's allowed to say those things. It's an actor who is clearly constrained. He's following those constraints, but he's also giving us some sort of information about how he's approaching the character. So I thought it was cool of him to say.
Let me play a little game of over-under with both of you guys right now. I'm going to set the percentage at 35%. 35%. The question, over or under 35%? The chances that Ezra Miller appears in at least a cameo in Batman vs. Superman?
Over.
Over 35%?
Yep.
Way over.
And I am far under. So that'll be interesting to see if he pops up. I think we first see him in Justice League Part 1.
I think you're going to see a dude on the corner who's heroic but has a little bit of humanity, and he also has some humanity. And looks like he could be a hero.
I think you're going to see someone in a corner doing some really lame puns and pointing out that, oh, wow, I just made a joke. And then someone pushes him out of the way really quick.
And then a scarab eats him.
A mechanical scare.
All right, what's next?
What's that you say? You want at least 5 more Fast and Furious movies?
Yes!
Well, then I've got good news for you. In a recent story in Variety, it has been revealed that Vin Diesel and company are not only looking at 3 new Fast and Furious movies, but also several spin-off films as well, one of which could be a standalone movie for Dwayne Johnson's character, Agent Hobbs. Mark, do you buy or sell the idea of 5 more Fast and Furious movies?
Sure. Yeah, why not? Let's buy it. Let's do 10. Let's do 20. I feel like it's like Oprah now. Just you get a Fast and Furious movie. You get a Fast and Furious
Under your
movie.
chair. There's a Fast and Furious movie.
It sounds ridiculous that you're going to have that many more of these movies. However, when you throw the notion at me that Hobbs could have his own movie, then maybe Vin Diesel pops in or somebody else, because they're expanding this universe. It is all of a sudden a shared universe. You have villains in there. You have heroes, and they can go off and do their individual little movies and then maybe come together back as a collective whole every so often for a Fast and Furious proper sequel. So, yeah, as ridiculous as it sounds, people are going to go see these, and I think there's going to be some at this table.
Schnepp?
Yeah, I buy like 11, 12, 13 movies as well. And Hobbs End, that's the title for,
Hobbs End.
If you horror fans get what I'm talking about. Anyway, Hobbs, I would love to see, just a standalone rock character, the Hobbs movie. That would be a great movie. I think they already talked about 3 more. I mean, when Vin Diesel was like, to finish up our trilogy, I was like, oh, they got 3 more. Because he's, and ancillary characters. Why not? It's a really fun series. I say chuck Ezra Miller in there as the punster. You just add him.
Now, I'm going to buy it too. And here's the thing. With the exception of this most recent Fast and Furious film, which was financially the biggest they've ever had, for the past 3 ones, not including this last one, have all gotten better and better and better and better. I thought this most recent one was a bit of a step. I still had fun with it. Yeah. I had a good time watching the last Fast and Furious movie, but I thought it was a bit of a step down from, what was the one for it? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, whatever.
Fast
6.
5, Furious.
The most recent was 7. That's right.
Yeah.
So they've all gotten better and better. There's a lot of fun, but you guys have both nailed it exactly. The prospects of a Hobbs standalone movie is great. And also, look, they want to Marvelize this universe. They want to create a big expanded universe. And let's not forget, they did something really, really right with these last 2 films. They created great villains and then didn't kill them off. Mm-hmm. So remember, Jason Statham and Luke Evans are still out there. And remember how the last Fast and Furious movie ended with Hobbs down there talking to him through the thing, I'll be waiting for you, boy. It's like, yeah, I want to see that. Mm-hmm. So, look, you asked me this 6 years ago, more Fast and Furious movies, screw you. But I got to admit, I'm on board. I think this sounds pretty fun. All right. Folks, it is Tuesday, which means it's time for us to talk about what is opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theatres. 3 big films opening this week. We're going to talk about one of them right now. So, Ashley, what are we starting with?
The first major film opening this week is the final installment of the wildly popular Hunger Games series, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Realizing the stakes are no longer just for survival, Katniss Everdeen teams up with her closest friends, including Peeta, Gale, and Finnick, for the ultimate mission. Together, they leave District 13 to liberate the citizens of war-torn Panem and assassinate President Snow, who's obsessed with destroying Katniss. What lies ahead are mortal traps, dangerous enemies, and moral choices that will ultimately determine the future of millions. Schnepp, are you looking forward to Mockingjay Part 2?
Yeah, since yesterday, I've changed my mind 100%. No, I'm really looking forward to this film. I really love that poster. Like they've somehow melded her into George Lucas's THX 1038 universe, where she's like in that weird white prison world.
President Snow's throne.
Yeah. You know what? Like we were joking about it yesterday. I don't think it's really going to end. I think the District 13 storylines, and we're either going to do prequels or sequels later on. But I'm looking forward to like seeing how this story ends, and it looks, from all the trailers I've seen, I haven't read the books, it looks really exciting, so I can't wait to see it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this film, and despite the fact that I did not like the books, I have liked all the movies, including the last one. And so this one, it's going to be a lot of payoff. It's going to be, it looks like they're amping it up as far as the visual effects and the action. You know, one of my criticisms about the first Hunger Games movie, which I did enjoy, was, to me, the world felt small. You know, they're supposed to be convincing us that these are global issues that are happening. And it always felt very small, more like a small community is dealing with issues rather than a world in turmoil. But as these films have gone on, they've made the scale feel grander. And the trailers for this make it truly feel like this is our world we're fighting for. And I really like that they've done that. So for that reason and many others, yeah, I'm going to be there this weekend watching the newest Hunger Games. I'm excited. What about you?
I'm very excited. I'm not overwhelmingly, I'm not incredibly enthused. I'm not going to be camping out like a lot of other people are, but I'm excited to see the Hunger Games because I really liked the first Mockingjay. It had the political thriller vibe that I wasn't expecting to get from Hunger Games, and it led up to what this sequel is, which this feels like it's just going to be 2 hours of just slam, bang, awesome action. We're going to attack the Capitol, and even though that might sound a little thin on the story front, seeing Hunger Games go to finally conquer Snow, seeing what's going to happen when all this rebellion finally gets up to President Snow and they finally have that meetup, I think is going to be worth it, and the action leading up to it probably is going to kick some ass.
I'm curious about you, Ashley. Like your thought. Are you looking forward to Hunger Games? What have you thought of the series so far?
I got to see it.
She did? Oh, that's right. You already got to see it.
Yeah.
I blocked it out.
I want to chime in, but I don't want to give too much away. I don't
Without
know.
giving
Did
any
you
spoilers.
like it?
I loved it, but it's hard for me to say because I am such a fan of the Hunger Games franchise. I feel like no matter what, I was going to love it because I was so excited for it.
Yeah, talk to me about the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's like a good point. But it was a lot creepier than I expected it to be. The other ones haven't scared me a little bit, but this one was a little bit creepy. Lots of sci-fi elements there too. I'm really excited for everyone to see it.
Was a satisfying ending?
And what you were saying that before this, I was like, there's no way that they are going to end this franchise because it's a moneymaker. Like, why would you
what you give away? Be careful what you give away.
But I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know if maybe this. I don't know.
I never considered the prospect of them making more Hunger Games until Schnepp just brought it up. I was like, well, there's no more books, so how can they make another movie? They can make 20 more movies if they want to. They're making 5 more Fast and Furious movies.
Because I was satisfied, I don't know where it will go from here.
All right, folks, well, we've reached that part of the show now for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, just email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Maybe you'll see your question pop up on Movie Talk Monday through Friday, maybe on our weekend, Saturday and Sunday Mailbag shows. So, and by the way, if you're watching us live right now, and we do the show live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Los Angeles time, 2 p.m. New York time, you can tweet in right now live. So tweet to us at Collider Video. Once again, our Twitter is at Collider Video. Make sure you're following us there. And Ashley will pick out a couple. But first, we're going to get to our mailbag question of the day. So Ashley, what's in the mailbag?
Louis Deslariers writes, like you, I'm very excited about John Wick 2. Here's my question. There seems to be a general feeling that Keanu is not a good actor. I'm not sure why. He has been in some of the most entertaining movies I have seen. From Bill and Ted to River's Edge to Point Break to The Matrix and John Wick, he's done a lot of great work. Sure, he's had some clunkers, but what actor hasn't? Why do you think he's not more highly regarded as an actor? Thanks and keep up the great work.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is an interesting one because generally speaking here, I'll just put it on the table. I don't think Keanu Reeves is a very good actor. He's not like a Daniel Day-Lewis or a Russell Crowe. Okay, granted, those are very, very high things to aim for, granted, yes. Or a Chiwetel Ejiofor, all these guys who, you can put them in any kind of role. And they will take that role, they will bring it to life, and they will make it real. Keanu Reeves is not one of those. But here's what he is, though. He's the kind of actor that if you put him in the right role that really fits what he brings to the table, i.e., The Matrix or John Wick. Like, if somebody else had starred in John Wick and we loved it, and then you came to me and said, what would you think about Keanu Reeves in that movie? I would go, actually, that would have been a movie Keanu Reeves would have shined in. It would have fit what he brings to the table perfectly. And there's something to be said about actors like that who have a certain, to quote Liam Neeson, a certain set of skills that they can bring that really make them shine in the right kind of role. You know, if I'm a producer, I am limited in what roles I would give Keanu Reeves. But for the right kind of role, I would jump all over it. So the overall, the way I would sum it up is, no, I don't think he's that great of an actor when you look at his overall toolkit. But he is the kind of actor that you put him in the right role, incredibly serviceable, and can have a huge impact. I don't know, Mark, your thoughts on Keanu Reeves as a whole.
I have 4 rankings for actors. There's bad, there's good, there's great, and then there's people like Keanu Reeves, where if you ask me if he's a good actor, I'd say, yeah, he's a good actor. You know, but again, in the right kind of role. His problem is that when he's miscast and he's winning in the wrong roles, it's more glaring than you would expect for a great actor. Like
Dracula, anybody?
God, Dracula is just, it is unbearable to watch that movie. Having said that, a couple years after that, he was Hamlet on stage, and he wasn't awful. Like, even I think critics heard Keanu Reeves was cast as Hamlet in the live production, and they all went to just lambaste this poor guy. And they all went like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. So I think he's a good actor.
I think in the right when he's cast in the right role with the right script and the right director, he shines. And it's like,
we've seen it happen.
Yeah, we've seen it a bunch of times. And sometimes he's miscast, and even in a film that you think is going to, Keanu Reeves is Johnny Mnemonic. That sounded like that's going to be awesome. But just the tone of the film was uneven, a lot of weird, just the way it was played out didn't work. And that's not his fault. So he'll bring what the Keanu Reeves elements are. And even when he brought it to Matrix, I remember when I saw the trailer for the Matrix, and he was like, whoa. He had those, Bill and Ted moments that you bring from the past, but then you see the movie and it's not Bill or Ted's adventure. It's brand new, fun. He's Neo. You know what I mean? And I thought he was great in Constantine. He's done a lot of really cool genre roles, and that's where I think he fits in great, is in genre roles. I don't really see, like, I've seen a few films where he's just like a normal dude.
Yeah, he played a doctor in that like Diane Keaton, Jack Nicholson movie. And
I love that movie.
Yeah,
but
the movie's good.
I didn't quite buy him as a doctor, but every time Keanu Reeves says the word excellent in any movie, it's
I hear that the guitar. Yeah. So yeah, I think Keanu Reeves is great. I'm always rooting for him in a movie. And John Wick was so much fun to see him actually nail a role, and it was just a great, perfect action film.
He's so good in that
movie.
Yeah. He's so, like, I actually consider myself a Keanu Reeves fan, but once again, it has to be the right role. There's another movie of his, though, that I was really curious to see, and it just totally flew over my radar, and I did not see it. It's been out. Remember that little one he did earlier this year, Knock Knock?
Yeah.
It didn't even come out.
It came out very, very limited. Heard not good things at all.
I know, I didn't hear it, but I didn't see it playing anywhere.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I wanted
to
see
it.
It.
Super limited. I was very curious to see it. I thought it looked like it could be another one of those roles for him that just suits him. And but you didn't hear good things about it?
I didn't hear good things at all, no.
Did it even come out?
Let's be honest. Even if you're not in great movies, even if you're not the best actor in the world, if you never age, that's a pretty good thing to have happen to you. The dude looks exactly the same as he did 25 years ago.
True. Yeah, it is kind of sick, stupid. All right, folks. It is now time for us to go to your live questions. Once again, if you're watching us live right now, and thousands of you are, just jump on Twitter. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video. Send in your questions, and Ashley's going to pick some out. So, Ashley, what do you got there today?
Alex Kahn writes, what are some of your favorite Christmas movies?
Die Hard.
Yep.
Miracle on 34th Street. Yep. It's a Wonderful Life. No, that's it. It's a Wonderful Life. That's my all-time favorite. And of course, the old classic Scrooge, Christmas Carol movies are always great. My mom puts on the Alistair one every single year, which is great. Yeah, those are ones that stand out to me.
My lady, Holly Payne, her grandfather is the star of Miracle on 31st Street.
Really?
He's the lawyer, John Payne. Yeah, so that's a family, we see that every year.
Does he know Santa Claus?
He certainly does, Mark. Our personal favorite, though, every year we watch Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah. There's a sequel coming,
I know. Well, I hope it's as good as the original because Bad Santa is the ultimate Christmas movie classic. And then the other one is Come Back to Me. I'll remember it. I have to think about it for a second.
Well, it's probably not the live-action Grinch, but the animated Grinch is one of my family's favorites, as is
so
Garfield's Christmas. It's animated. It's hysterical.
Never
Watch
saw
it.
that.
It'll get you the feels right here. The Christmas Carol version that my family always watches is the 1984 one with George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge and Bill Murray in Scrooged. Is
that was
one of our
great.
all-time favorites.
yeah.
And by the way, Wendy showed us a trailer right before we went live to the Bill Murray Christmas special.
A Very Murray
It's gonna
Christmas.
Be on, a Very Murray Christmas is going to be on Netflix December 4th. I literally did not know about it an hour ago. Now it is on my want-to-see list.
That's gonna be fun. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see that. All right, what's next?
Mr. Mac Cheese writes, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Honestly, the final one. I thought they did a great job wrapping that series up. It's tough to take a beloved franchise, beloved series, and wrap it up well. They did it with Return of the Jedi. They did it with The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. They did it, I thought, very well with Harry Potter. So that's my favorite one.
Mine's a third one, Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's a lot of people's favorite. And it's actually my least favorite of the series. But a lot of people really love that
I just like the
film.
darker tone that it's like those first two were like way kind of Disney for me, and I hadn't even seen them. I was like, I'll finally see those before I see the third one. So I saw both of those the same day, and then I saw the third one. I was like, wow! Not only introducing Gary Oldman, the director. I'm like drawing a blank on his name right now. He's a very famous director.
Yeah, the Mexican director, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
But
What
it was
about you?
really good.
It wasn't Inarritu that did it. It was
Alfonso
Cuarón,
Cuarón,
yeah.
director
Thank you
of
very
Gravity. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would probably say Deathly Hallows 2. I mean, Hermione's the oldest in that one. But no, seriously, I love Deathly Hallows 2. I love wrapping it up. I thought it wrapped it up. Voldemort didn't quite come to, Voldemort didn't bring his A game. At the
No,
end of
he
that-
did not.
Voldemort, if that was a best of 7 series, Voldemort is going to crush Harry Potter and take over the entire universe. So,
All right, what's next?
Graham Day writes, my question is, 2015 has been a terrible year for villains. Have you got any memorable villains?
It's always tough when you ask about this year because all the years start to blend to me. So, great villains in 2015. I can't even remember which movies I saw in 2015.
Blofeld from Bond, right, guys?
Yeah,
that
not
was
so much.
that was pretty disappointing. I liked Wasp. Was it Wasp? Not Wasp. The dude from Ant-Man.
Yellow Jacket.
Daniel Cross.
Yeah. I liked Yellow Jacket. And if you're trying to go more outside the box, how about Mars as a villain? It's a pretty damn good villain.
Oh, you know who I
know?
like? Samuel L. Jackson in Kingsman.
That was-
As
yeah.
the
he
villain
was a
with
great-
the little
Michael,
lisp.
with
Yeah.
the Michael Tyson, the Mike Tyson list.
So much fun as a good villain.
That was
you
a
know?
good villain, actually. All right, what's next?
Jason Smith writes, if you could have a prop from any movie, what would it be?
Oh, it's simple. The original lightsaber that Obi-Wan hands to Luke, that or Indy's whip from the first one.
Taking Captain America's shield or Thor's hammer.
That's very cool.
Can I get a Batmobile?
Yeah,
or
well,
a DeLorean.
yeah.
Either one, I'll take.
If you could get that big, I'd get greedy, Ellis. I want an
that's okay.
X-wing.
No, I take it back. I want the X-wing thing.
I want the
It's a-
Millennium Falcon, the full-size one that they built for Star Wars: The
Although,
Force
I will
Awakens.
say this, talk about movie props, talk about Indy's whip and stuff like that. I had a chance a number of years ago. I was invited to Skywalker Ranch, and which is just, it was my pilgrimage to Mecca.
Did you cry?
I think I did a
Yeah.
little bit, actually, standing on the ranch. And you go into this one room, and under a glass case is the totem, is that idol from the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That Andy was
Wow.
like, and
Yeah,
puts
put in the
thing on,
sand.
and I got to touch it and hold it, and I was like, whoa, that was pretty cool.
I would take Freddy Krueger's glove.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nice.
That's one I want.
That's a
'cause-
nice one.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tim Barnes writes, do you have any plans for another movie bracket theme next year?
Yes, yeah, we're definitely going to do our March Movie Madness tournaments. They've been great so far. We did the best superhero movies, and then last year we did best animated movies. I'm not sure what the next one's going to be, but you guys seem to respond to them really well. We have a lot of fun doing them, so there will definitely be another March Madness tournament coming up.
Yeah, let's do rain movies. Let's do like The Notebook versus Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Best
thought-
rain scenes
best
in
movies
movies.
with
Black
Rain.
Rain versus Rain
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I'd like to see Rain Man in Black Rain. I think he could take down the Yakuza.
That's right.
Okay, what's next?
Albert Gonzalez Jr. writes, who is your win so far for best lead actress?
Oh gosh! Again, I would have to pull up a list and see.
I
What's
think my
coming out
answer is
this year.
going to change after I see Carol with Cate Blanchett. 'Cause I'm just hearing nothing but amazing things about that. So that's probably what my answer is going to be, because I haven't seen that movie and I haven't seen The Revenant either, and I'm already giving Leo the statue. So Kate, enjoy your trophy.
Schnapp, what about you?
Name off some movies this year. I'm like drawing a blank.
He said Blunt and Sicario.
She's incredible.
She's very good in that. I don't know that she'd be my big pick, but she was very, very
I
good.
think Sicario for me is like in the top 5 best pictures of the year so far that I've seen, and she was fantastic in it. So I would definitely say she should get something, which maybe would be an Oscar. I don't know, but let's see.
You know who's not going to get any attention, but I really do think she should. I thought Lily James's Cinderella was wonderful. That wasn't an easy role to pull off in the type of movie that they did. And speaking of which, then I also think Cate Blanchett should probably get a Best Actress nomination for playing the evil stepmother in that movie as well. She was great in that. But I just don't think as a movie it's one that's going to get a lot of attention. All right, what's next?
Sean Lallen writes, will they ever remake Gone with the Wind or make a Grown Ups 3?
Oh, well, those are two very different questions. I'm not even going to answer the Grown Ups 3 one.
Right.
Gone with the Wind, yep, eventually. Now, right now, that is one of those, it's like Citizen Kane. It's one of those ones that I think a lot of Hollywood is very scared to touch, but the further away we get from it, I think the closer we are to having a remake. It'll be interesting to see a modern telling of that story with today's actors and today's styles and things like that. I think they will eventually. Give it 5 years or so. What do you think?
Frankly, Campy, I don't give a damn. You know what? I would see it. Bunch of carpetbaggers, stuff on fire, horror. Gone with the Wind. Sounds great.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be remade in theaters. I think they're going to do one of those like ridiculous made-for-TV. It's a live event. No, it's actually happening live with a bunch of famous people. That's what's going to happen with
Peter
Gone with the
Pan?
Wind. Yes, before it comes back in theaters, that's how they're going to do it.
Gone with the Wind on ice. All right, what's next?
T. Miller writes, ahem, you can only pick one to watch, The Revenant or Hateful Eight. Choose carefully.
Hot damn, Revenant. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough one because those are both movies I'm really looking forward to. But I gotta admit, right now, the Hateful Eight trailers have been really good. They've been good. The Revenant trailers have been epic.
Yeah.
So I got to go Revenant.
Yeah, they're mini movies of excitement. I'll go with, and since the question didn't say you can never see Hateful Eight after you see Revenant, I'm going to say I'll see Revenant first, then Hateful Eight. Ha, we win.
Once it comes out that John Schnepp saw the Hateful Eight in the same day, oh my God. Great facial hair in both films. I'm going to go The Revenant. And a landslide. I just can't wait to see that movie.
Okay, let's take 2 more.
All right, Kelvin Masonette writes, it has caught my attention that Daniel Day-Lewis has been MIA since 2012. When will we see this acting legend again?
Yeah, he is bar none, without question, the reigning, defending, undisputed best actor in the world. It's Daniel Day. You're going to have a hard time finding people that disagree with that. One of the things that makes him so exceptional is he's so freaking picky about roles, almost to the point that it's frustrating as a fan that he is so freaking picky about how many roles he does, but then he comes and does one and you're like, okay, Daniel, all's forgiven because you're freaking awesome. And just when he does a movie like There Will Be Blood, where he's like Daniel Plainview, and you're like, never can anybody touch this performance, then he comes out again a few years later and gives probably the best Lincoln ever performed. The guy is just unbelievable. I don't know when he's coming back, man. It is time. It's time. It's been years. Come on, dude. I know you love cobbling those shoes.
I know. He's a cobbler.
He's a shoe cobbler.
He's off
Really?
right now.
Yes,
He's
he loves
cobbling
cobbling
shoes,
the
dude.
shoes.
Of course he's a shoe cobbler. That makes so much sense. It's ridiculous. Of course you're a shoe cobbler. I
I don't know. You guys any thoughts on this?
think we're probably being Grown Ups 3. No, yeah, I'd love to see him in something soon. We need you back, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, how many more shoes can you possibly cobble? Probably a lot. He's like, Snap, shut up. He's watching us right now while he's cobbling. I haven't gotten the script yet, Somebody's got to get to his cobbler house and get him a couple of scripts that he could read that he signs off on. I've got to transform and method act, and I got to be able to put these shoes away. You got to give him a script that'll make him hang up the shoes for a year,
I know what it's going to be. He's 2018. He's going to be Mr. Sinister in the new X-Men movie. 2018. You heard it here first. Daniel Day-Lewis is going to be Mr. Sinister. Okay, last question of the day.
Kevin Bernoulli writes, which 2 characters would you like to appear in a versus movie?
Oh,
I mean, I'm already getting my wish in 2020 with King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
I was very
that's a big
disappointed
one.
by Freddy versus Jason. I'd like to see
Yeah.
them fight again.
I always want to see a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash movie. I know they tried to get that one going.
Well, they had
Right.
the
for a long
comic.
time. Yeah, but I want to see it.
I want to
you
see
know?
Flash versus Flash. I want to see Punster versus the TV Flash. I want to see the two Flashes fight in a multiverse fight. That
Ezra
would
Miller
be,
versus Grant Gustafson.
yeah, but in a movie like both Flash from Earth 1 and Flash from Earth 2. I think that would be a great way to tie in the two worlds too. Have some kind of epic freak out fight, you know?
You know what I've been really waiting for, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. I want to see, because I mean it's just two of their biggest characters. I'd want to see Batman against Superman. That's the one I would really like to see.
But
I
what if
don't
they
think-
were in court? Like if they had a big courtroom
That's
battle?
exactly what I'm picturing.
Yeah, like
I wanna
almost
see
no
them-
action, just people talking.
I
That would be-
object. Sustained. I want to see that.
Laser vision. You just blew up the court. I know. I got upset. You know.
You know, they also made Alien versus Predator, and that was bad too. So, like, they're making these movies that we want to see, these versus movies.
Right.
They're just not doing it that well.
Yeah, no, they're not turning out so good.
Batman v Superman, maybe.
X-Men versus Avengers.
Woohoo! How about Marvel versus Capcom, like the video game?
Bam,
Or
that
Street
would be
Fighter
cool.
versus Mortal Kombat.
I would want to see that.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great movies playing at our friends over at AMC Theatres. Head on over to www.amctheatres.com for all of your theater showtime and, of course, your movie ticket information. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And, hey, guys, it's November. It's No Shave November. So I want to encourage you guys, find the cancer cause of your choice and contribute to cancer research. It's probably the best thing you can possibly do. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting on my left, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp, and you can get my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, by checking it out on Showtime, or go to my website, www.toslwh.com. Get a digital download for your friend for Thanksgiving before you eat. Watch the film.
And, of course, sitting over my right, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you?
Online at 5150 Ellis. And this weekend, I was in West Palm Beach last weekend, but it was just way too warm and nice. So I'm going to Omaha, Nebraska, Friday through Sunday. I'll be at the Funny Bone. Get tickets at markellislive.com.
And, of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And, of course, you guys can just follow me on Facebook or on Twitter at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name is John Campia for Collider Video, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.